Let's go.
Hi, this is Ronda with Reiki Round Podcast. And if you've never met me, I go by Rev Ronda. And if you would like to come on here and share a positive story about your Reiki experience, whether you're a client or a practitioner, and it can be any realm of Reiki. So just let me know. I would love to have you on the show. But today I am honored to have my uh, good friend and special guest, Kathy. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, thanks, Rhonda, for having me. I really appreciate it. It's always nice to be with you and talk. My name is Kathy Milanowski. I have a wellness center in Deerfield, Wisconsin, and I teach a whole bunch of different modalities, online and in person. So I am really into Reiki. I got to tell you, I created Reiki Studio. It's a Facebook group that's very large, and Reiki helped me through my life. I'm a little partial to Reiki, but I also teach other different things and offer wellness retreats. So thanks, Rhonda. Yeah.
So how did you get started in your Reiki journey?
Well, I gotta say, I've always been pretty metaphysical throughout my life. I allow myself and my senses to guide me through life that a lot of people maybe weren't really strong in. So my healing, I was a very, I think let me back up. I believe that everybody's a psychic, everybody's a healer, everybody's a manifester, everybody is a creator. But are we active in it? And so I was always pretty active in my healing journey and my psychic journey because, we're strong at some things and we're weak at others, right? And we're all balanced. It's always there. And so with me, I had a reading comprehension disorder. And what does that mean? That means if you give me a whole bunch of literature and books and writing things, I will not know what I comprehend and what I do comprehend. And so books were not, as everybody else grows up with books and literature and reads all this information, I had to really rely on myself and my instincts and the human guides that would help me read and do things and work with life. And so I've always really been strong on trusting myself and my instincts. And so I went through life like that. It was kind of there was no guidance there. It was my guidance, but there was nothing else to help me and to empower me. And I went through life until I was about 42 years old. And I was not in the best of health, I gotta tell you. And I met a little older lady named Nancy Merrifield in Bothell, Washington. I lived in Seattle area at the time. And and she touched me. And when she touched me, Rhonda, I felt relaxed. And for somebody that had a panic disorder, that didn't leave the house, that was consciously like alert all the time, this was a grace. This was an angel to me. I mean, it was just absolutely phenomenal how I felt for my first Reiki treatment. She asked me who I was and what I did for a living. And at that time, I actually was an antique dealer. I owned a pretty big antique company and did estate sales for a living. She asked me, I was so sensitive. She felt that she asked me, she goes, what do you do with all this old stuff and you sell it and things are attached to it? And I was like, well, one of my super gifts, we all have them, is that my light shines bright enough. They just kind of go to whatever they need to do. I've had a couple sticky little guys hit, a military, but that's about it, that kind of vibration. So I've always kind of like allow it to clear. Things would clear my way. And so I kind of understood metaphysics and energy, but I never had anybody to talk about it. Maybe the plants and the animals, and that's about it. No one else kind of wanted to talk stuff like that with me, which we all can relate to. So in 42, after that, 2 weeks after that, I learned Reiki. She asked me if I was going to like to take a Reiki class. And I was like, okay, maybe this does do something. And so I went to Reiki class. I was kind of confused, like a lot of people. I was really nervous. I wanted to make sure that I could get Reiki. I didn't want to be the only person in the room without the Reiki, whatever this Reiki stuff was, because a lot of people read about it beforehand. I never did. I didn't even know what it was. but it felt good. And it felt, and I relaxed. And that to me is huge. So I go ahead and I take the Reiki class and it completely changed my pace. I mean, I'm an intense person. I'm a Scorpio, so I'm an intense person. So my life goes very fast and very intense. And it did it with Reiki. In a period of 1 day and 1 year, I moved from the West Coast to Wisconsin, have already a wellness center, kind of did it backwards before I even got my stuff together. And I taught my first class. I had in between that time, I had to move, sell my house. Thank God I could do that for a living, right? Get all that stuff together. I had quite a few employees, over 10 employees. So I had to get that all together and work on. And so as I was getting this together, I come to Wisconsin to a hunting village and maybe not everybody's talking Reiki like Seattle, Washington is, you know? And so I was getting a flavor like, wow, I might have to be quiet. Well, I couldn't do that. There's no way. There's no way. That's part of my destiny, you know, to help people, to empower them for their growth of themselves, wherever it is. And so for 3 hours, I had to get Reiki in Deerfield approved. And as a young Reiki practitioner, that's hard stuff, right? But Reiki helped me through that. And through all those times, and it was really like pretty intense. Things were going as a flow, though. It was intensely, but a good flow. I was building my relationship with Reiki, building my trust with the vibration, and getting me through the tough times. Like I was telling you, like I get a little nervous talking, you know, doing videos and podcasts and stuff like that. And it's time for me to come out of that closet and say, okay, you know, I am a personable person, but I get very nervous, you know. There's a lot of judgment out there. So yeah, so that started my Reiki story. And I had 8 students right away, which that was pretty big for me. And I started teaching Reiki and it changed my life. The One of the best things about teaching Reiki is when after lunch, when they get connected and activated to the Reiki source, you can see it in their eyes. They brighten up. You know, you can see the spark in their eyes.
What year was that?
That was in 2013. Actually, I'm sorry, 2013. I learned Reiki in 2014 because it was in January. I taught my first class. And after that, I've taught Reiki every month. Enough that I did it for a year and a half. I'm a licensed teacher with the International Center Reiki training. I decided after that I wanted to learn about the International Center Reiki training because I love teaching Reiki for so much. And I was good at it. For a lot of times of somebody not being in the greatest of education, you know what I mean? And not being strong in their typical education, I was a little shy about it, but my spirit came forth and said, hey, you could do this. Look what you're offering and look at the results. And so I got away from my ego a little bit and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And so I loved it so much, Rhonda, I decided that I wanted to become a professional member of the International Center Reiki training. So that's just like a step into saying that I got taught by licensed teachers, that they actually have, they follow up and they have a required things to teach. And so I decided to do that. And then I went to the retreat and said, I like these people. I like it that they all like teaching Reiki like I do. And and when you have friends like that or colleagues like that, you could get information and you could switch information and you could say, hey, I'm having a tough student or what can I do to enhance my Reiki classes? Getting that education all the time fresh. And that was awesome to me. Between the community and the education, I was like, let me sign up for that. And so I started doing that. I became a licensed teacher in about 2 years after the program. And now I'm a mentor licensed teacher. So I actually teach other licensed teachers to go through the program and stuff. So it's changed me though. That sounds like a lot of work, but It's work for me. It's my inner work. Everything I do and I teach, I'm learning at a deeper level too. I believe that I'm a student and a teacher and a student. If I go to a class and teach whatever I teach, like I just did a psychic spread for 2025 for online class. And if I don't learn something, even in that class, any classes, then I'm not open. I'm not as aware, I'm too much into my ego. And that teaches me like I need to step aside a little bit more, and allow my light to shine and do what it needs to do. Because that's why people come see me, right?
I was enough to take one of your psychic oracle classes, and it was amazing. So when did it go from just Reiki classes to more?
I think it's because of my own personal development. I'll never forget, I told this in my animal Reiki class. I did Usui Reiki and then, Holy Fire Reiki. Before then was Tibetan Reiki. I did a little bit of Jikiden Reiki. So I do a lot of different flavors of Reiki because I believe tools in your toolbox. And then I did animal Reiki. And that really changed me because that's a different frequency too. It's a lot of animal Reiki. You just learn like behavioral things. You work with your Reiki and this, but this animal Reiki does have a vibration. It's the earth and the spirits of the earth. And nature is a spirit of the earth. And so you work with nature and your senses. And my senses got really refined. And it seems that's what happens with this type of Reiki. You when you charge it up and you're activated a little stronger, your senses start getting more refined. And I started working with the earth. And all of a sudden, a psychic class. Like I knew I had psychic abilities. I've been a Akashic record reader for about 10 years, So I've been doing this, but I didn't know how to teach it. And so what I did was is the earth taught me, said, start learning how to do it this way. Put this, create a book, for yourself. Create a manual for everybody to have and then start working with this. This is, and so I started doing that and I started developing my own classes. And then all of a sudden, my students were asking me, you're very psychic in the Reiki classes. How can we improve our psychic ability? So I listened. I listened to the invitation, and that's how I work. And I started forming that class. And then after I started forming that class, the energy helped me work with the empowerments to help people to open up, to clear like an activation, like a Reiki activation. So I was like, okay, I got something here, This is, and it's developing trust within me to to explain, to guide somebody and not feel like I'm Kathy, the 8-year old that could not read. Jill went up the hill, and get those vibrations. So it's kind of helped me heal my own journey and throughout my process as I teach and go on and accept the information that I give. And so that was the next part of me is that here I learned the psychic class and you were probably like I think you were the second class that you joined in on and it going well, people are really liking it, they feel it's very personable and my last class were like thank you so much for allowing us to be who we are and to put feedback into other people's readings and we really like that you weren't all about you. I'm like no, it's a together thing, it's all of our lights, in a class. And I do give you information, but it goes to that.
That class actually helped me gain a lot of confidence. It really taught me that I did know how to do the oracle card readings. And so I actually am still doing the same job where I do, but I also learned tarot after the fact. So now I do oracle or tarot and Reiki, and I still work at the same place. But if it wasn't for that class, I don't know if I would have had the confidence to do it.
That's going to make me tear up because that's all I want from people. I want them to be empowered so they go on and work on their studies and give them tools to empower. And that's why I talk about the healing warrior. And that's my mission. It's just to empower you. You don't have to come back to me. It'd be great to come visit me, but I want to empower you so you can connect with other people and you or the living things or whatever it is, you know what I mean? And do your destiny. and spread the light, right? Kind of deal. And as we grow, sometimes it's hard, but as we grow and blossom, we start developing more of a trust. Like I said, into psychic development, you're going to have to learn to trust your instincts, to trust your psychic flashes, to trust your emotional intelligent health. You know what I mean? That information that comes in all these different senses. And give yourself the grace when you don't want to trust it. You know what I mean? Like I do that. That's like my next thing after the psychic classes. I started really going to where my path is how I learned since a little girl is through my heart space. A lot of people will be like, I feel comfortable around you. I feel like I could be open. You open my heart up. You're just like one big hub love. That's what they call me, And it is true. My heart is it's very evolved. I don't know how evolved it is. I think we all could get there and beyond, but I do understand heart intelligence, and that's how I developed that book. And for me to say I am an author, to have such a disability that I had, that um, it's incredible. It's incredible to my logical head because I was like, how am I going to write this book? I wrote it in 3.5 hours.
Wow.
I never had anybody help me but Grammarly. And here's the book, 3.5 hours. Now, it took me 3 months, and I had to make my own pictures. It took me 3 months to, get things together, look at things, saying, oh, is this, ugh, and maybe more information. But like the first 3.5 hours, it was put together. And I knew then the divine action helped me, me. It was me though. And I found that out, and it took a lot of me to be like, "Oh my gosh, that's me. I could really, explain it this way. I could really do it this way." And throughout the time, that's when the book happened. And between those, I was doing the retreats, and that energy was helping me with the retreats. And they're like, you have to connect with all people, not just Reiki people, all people. You know what I mean? And that's why always my wellness retreats are for everybody. Anybody that wants to, hang out in them. It is very metaphysical retreats though, but but in between the time, but I had to trust myself. All these little barriers, hosting a retreat for 20 people overnight. That could be a little scary at first. It wasn't scary. It took me 5 years that I kept on getting hurt, told to do it, and I ignored it. And slowly through the program of my Kathy's life, I started getting the courage to do it. And then when I launched the retreat, it went well. And I started doing more and more and more. And it started helping me grow within myself. And I think this whole interview, it's about growth within yourself. It's how you can develop. And for me, it's been a little emotionally hard because I had to get out of my comfort zone. And life keeps on putting it out there, to get out of my comfort zone. But then I see the results, and I see the smiles, and I see the people, you know, shining with their lights. And that's everything.
So, and I think people don't realize that you did all of this on top of having a family and being married.
Right? I have three boys, 35, 19, and 15. I got three cats that are I gotta say my cats. There are let me see now, 14 or 30, yeah, 14, 7, and 5. I got two grandkids that are 12 and 11, and a husband that's 55 like me.
Your grandkids aren't much younger than your youngest son.
I know, I know, I know. My first son got married, and that was an emotional thing too. I got to tell you, life is a whole bunch of loves, ups and downs, and turns arounds. But it's kind of neat because I have all boys, and I have a granddaughter, and I have a grandson. And it's a little different. Yeah, it's fun. And they're on the East Coast. So I'm originally from the East Coast. I'm from DC. I was born in DC and lived in Pennsylvania and Virginia area a lot in my life, and a couple other states, but mainly then. And then me and my husband got together and met in Missouri. I lived in Missouri for a while, and then we moved back to the East Coast. And then after he's a scientist, so we're kind of like yin and yang. He's a scientist, and then he had to do his postdoc work in Seattle, and that's how we landed in Seattle. But yeah, I mean, here's a fun thing for you. I've lived in most M and W states.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny? My maiden name started with an M. My last name now is Milanowski, and it's with an M. I live in Wisconsin. Yeah, I could just go down the line. And if it was like a different kind of state, I lived on a street that had an M or a W. And I didn't realize this till like 4 years ago. I'm thinking, huh, because I like patterns. I'm like, well, that's different. That's different. I'm a Scorpio. That's an M, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that funny? Life life gives us those kind of little clues, and we're just like, little paradox, you know?
I always get a sequence of numbers
Yeah.
that always coincide with what's going on.
Yeah. I want to know somebody to know something about letters because I want to know what W and M mean. No one knows. So if you see this and you have it, contact Rhonda or Kathy. But yeah, I even like if I relax and don't do it just by guidance, like not Kathy head, but if I give a Reiki treatment, Rhonda, and I go into it like this, people usually will start jerking or shaking and that happens sometimes with me, but like it's a little bit more intense, it seems like. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
You
I'm
know, it's amazing how um, you cannot understand your gifts, and then you start doing Reiki, and it helps you get so in tune with your gifts. And then, like you said, it helps push you outside your comfort zone. Because before the pandemic, I had done distant Reiki, but I was more in tune with in-person Reiki.
Hmm.
And the pandemic really helped me get in tune with the distance Reiki, where I started picking up and sensing stuff. And I was doing Reiki with people all over the world that I'd never met. And they're like, how did you pick that up? And it's like, it just really helps you get in tune with everything. And
Yeah, because you got to concentrate a little bit if as a practitioner. I mean, you could just say, I'm going to give you Reiki and honestly, do a little prayer, put your hands down on your legs, and I could give you Reiki. I do it all the time distance. Like I'll do other things, but then I'll feel it in my body where it needs to go or where it's going. But I'm confident. I trust that connection. But when you first start out with this in Reiki, get yourself in a like quiet place, and some kind of medium to work with for the other person or whatever, that connection, and then and then talk to them afterwards and ask them, hey, how was that? They're gonna love it.
I would, so I don't, it's something I've naturally done since I've done Reiki, but for a lack of better terminology, I feel like I astral project to them.
Okay.
So I've actually had a psychic medium that asked me to do Reiki on her, but I also picked up some stuff in her house. So
Okay.
I used my grid, and so I was doing both, and she was like, I physically saw you when you were doing Reiki, and I said, yeah, I was looking because, and I had picked up an elemental,
Okay.
and she had already knew about it and stuff like that, but she was just completely floored that. And so I've had a lot of people sit there and say, well, it felt like you were physically here. Well, in a sense, I was.
Right. It's our minds that think that there's time and distance and there's a limitation to it. And it's not. There's no time or distant limitations. Like even the Akasha records, when I go into it, you could do your past, your present, and your future. You could put healing in your future. You could put healing in your past. And people are like, well, what does it feel like when you put healing into my past? I'm like, I'll tell you. I had a panic disorder. I never left the house. I was married. I was abused, after my first marriage. And it was really, really bad. That's all I want to go to it. After I learned Reiki and heard that I could put Reiki to my past, I did it every day. I didn't even care. I would take something and be like, this is my Reiki ball right now for my past. And I just gave it Reiki. And then I put it away and and I'm telling you, I knew the pattern change. So there might be a pattern change. What happened to me? When you said the man's name that abused me, my body didn't cringe anymore. I knew that was huge, Rhonda. I knew then the Reiki, there was another great Reiki story. It's like, I love Reiki. It's like it, something happened. It was very subtle, but I did not cringe. So I kept on doing it and kept on doing it to my past. And then after a while, I started getting really relaxed. So that's how it helped me in my past. And that's how you could tell how it helps you in your past or your future or whatever. You could be like, I just want to, a lot of people, it's a lot of stress on the people's minds right now in 2025. It's a lot of stress right now in America, at least, all over the place, no matter where you're at, all over the place. And this is a time for Reiki practitioners to step up and start beaming Reiki to their futures. They don't have to go and get everybody's future. If they just did their own future and beamed Reiki there every day for 5 minutes, it would change the world's frequency. And you don't even have to worry about giving it to anybody else. Just for 5 minutes every day for a couple weeks, it would change. It would have to change because we work with energy and frequency all around us, if we know it or not know it, right? So it's kind of like, and it's just, yeah. So that's why me and Karen came on a couple, weeks ago. I started saying, okay, I will start doing these live broadcasts because as Reiki practitioners, we need to step up. We need to start beaming our light. And if you don't know where to beam it to yourself, to your future. And that would be my message for people. Beam it to your future.
So, what amazing things do you have going on for this year? Because I know you have a lot.
Oh, I do. I do. I have so much. So in a month, so I always have Reiki classes online, in person. Don't matter. I'm in Deerfield, Wisconsin. It's a beautiful, magic little place here. I also have different other healing modalities going through. Patrick Ziegler's coming in the end of March. Patrick Ziegler is a big guy. He's one of my favorite teachers, and he does Sikhem energy, and it's seventh dimensional energy and on. And he's coming for 4 days. I do it once a month for everybody in person. This is in person kind of thing. And then he's coming for a big class. So that's a pretty big class. So if you're interested in that, just go on my website, look at that. And so one of my favorite things, my retreats. So I'm doing one at the end of June, and you're gonna love this one. And the theme of it is earthly reflections. And we usually have a ball, we dress up ball. And a lot of people do dress up. Some people really good, some people just a little bit. Um, and this year's theme is witches, the witches ball. And so we're going to be doing line dancing as witches and get like filmed on, and we're just doing some fun things. And we're going to bring in some different energies in and stuff like that. But that's one of my babies, is I would say, is the retreats. I really, really enjoy them. They're really, really nice. And you feel great afterwards. So that one is in March 26th through, I'm sorry, June 26th through June 29th. And so we still have some rooms. It goes up to about 25 people, and that's about it. Get your own room, bathroom. The forest is 3 steps, maybe 6 steps out from the thing. It's just absolutely. I love the forest. I love plants. So yeah, so a little bit of that. I'm doing a fall retreat in October 17th, 18th, and 19th at the same place. And that's in Dodgeville, Wisconsin. And then some people, they're like, I want to do a retreat, but I don't have a lot of money. So I do day retreats. So I'm going to do one in August 23rd. It's just a day retreat kind of deal. And one in December 27th.
Oh, I might have to try to get one of those.
I
I
know.
have some exciting news. So you know that I'm a huge animal activist and that I love to help rescue when I can. And I've told you in the past how I went to Spain and helped rescue galgos and how it was the most amazing thing in the world. I'm getting to do that again in April.
I can't wait to hear about your travels. Oh, I hope you put live streams on there. That would be a wonderful story. That's a wonderful story. We need all the great stories, make us feel good. Yeah.
Yep, I return to Barcelona. I'm not sure if we're going other places, but I'm super excited to go back to Barcelona.
I know. I went, that's the only time I've been out of the country is Barcelona. I went there in Madrid and I loved it. It was last year. I loved it. I'm ready to go another thing.
Place. I do love Spain.
Yeah. Me and my husband wants to go to Italy. So we're not sure when we're going to go. We're thinking next year, but we'll see, kind of deal. And I'm also thinking about doing a retreat in Puerto Rico. So
That would be phenomenal.
I know. I already got a house for some reason. I get the place. I get like the opposite. I get the thing and then I have to work. But I'm just going to wait for those details like in May. I'm going to just see how the country's doing, what's going on before I put a big commitment out there because that would be a pretty big retreat for me. Usually I do them in Wisconsin. So yeah, I'm excited. Fun times, right?
I'm gonna have to follow that one for sure because
Yeah.
that would.
It'll be fun. It would definitely be fun. Who doesn't like the beach?
I don't even think you need a passport because that's
You
part of
don't.
the.
You don't. You don't need a passport at all. So it's just, yeah, and I already got itinerary. I got that worked out and all that. I mean, there's so many fun things there. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. And it's a time that it's a healing warrior thing. It's you healing yourself and a lot of people are like, especially healers, active healers, they never give themselves anything. They're like, well, it costs a lot of money or this and this. And it's like, pray. I tell people when they want to take the retreat, I say, oh, I got you a suggestion. Pray and tell yourself and through many dimensions that you would really like to take this and you would really like and see how the money comes to you. You might have to work hard, but it'll be offered to you. You know what I mean? Kind of deal. So it's all different ways. But yeah, that's how I do it. I usually pray if I want to go somewhere, especially if it's not like my family. It's like for me to do, Kathy just to do. So I'll pray. I'll be like, if whatever comes up, and then if a job will come up or something, I'll take it. I'll be like, this is the money for this, and this is what I'm doing for it. Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited for you.
Thank,
So many amazing things.
thank you so much. I'm excited for you too.
Yes,
I
I
know.
am.
I know.
When you go over there, it's so different than here.
Yeah.
So, number one, it helps you appreciate living here, and then number two, these animals are their lifestyle is so different than our lifestyle here. So, it gives me the opportunity to not only help them, but like to do Reiki and help calm them. And
Yeah. You can send Reiki ahead, to get everything together. Yeah. Let me know and I'll send a big dose of it.
oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Look, your cat's licking
Did
himself.
you did you want to tell everybody your website so they know where to go?
Sure. I would love for you guys to visit my website. It is www.wisconsin like the state Reiki.com. So www.wisconsinreiki.com. And I'd love for you to look at it. And you could go on my Facebook page. And also we have Reiki Studio. We talk a lot about Reiki today. So Reiki Studio is a group on Facebook that we both moderate. So yeah, we'd love to have you and to look forward to seeing live feeds and things like that and things to empower you. Yeah, I'm gonna get out there. I'm telling you. It'll be like, I saw
I'm
her
so
before. I'm
excited.
like, all right. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
thank you so much for being a guest. If you would like to be a guest, just like Kathy, just let me know. We love to share positive Reiki stories. Like I said, you can be a client or a practitioner of any realm of Reiki. So I hope that you all have a blessed day and thank you for joining our Reiki Realm podcast. So talk to you all soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I actually have a lady that